enterprise architect. Uh, so I have started doing the POCs on AWS, and I have worked on various cloud technologies, be it AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and IBM Bluemax as well. Little there was some requirement, so I have seen the look and feel the console. So that's all about myself. So anyone is already working on cloud formation or Terraform? Guys?
Yeah, hi Srikanth, can you hear me?
Yep, yeah.
Yeah, Srikanth, this is Harish. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, Srikanth, right now in my current organization, I'm working as a AWS engineer. I'm planning to move to DevOps. So I was thinking to take Terraform. In my company, they are using Terraform, not the cloud formation. So I was planning to take Terraform trainings and also the other DevOps training also. So I hope this will be good experience for me. So that's about me, Srikanth.
Fantastic. Good to hear. Uh, Anyone else? So we'll keep this session little interactive. Yeah. So anyone else got the exposure to either cloud formation or Terraform? None. So someone want to say something? Or AWS? Someone is working on AWS? No?
Yeah, I
Yes?
have some experience on AWS.
Okay. May I know your name?
My name is Vivekanand.
All right. Good.
Hello. Yeah, hi, this is Chaitanya. Yeah, currently I'm working in AWS as DevOps, and also I started using Terraform and some part of cloud consultant.
So I would like to thank Micronet for giving me this opportunity. So this entire training would be for 2 weeks, in the sense 12 days with um, 1 day practice. I mean, totally, and I would be giving you one kind of a real-time experience project, along with just try to we learn as many concepts as possible, and the training would be 1 hour per day. And today I try to cover the agenda, which says that starting from what is the IAC, what is the Terraform, and how do we handle the Terraform with respect to AWS. So first of all, the challenges of creating the infrastructure, be it AWS, be it Azure or Google, everybody has their own native tools. For example, AWS, we have got CloudFormation, which is to create the infrastructure. Okay. So then why do we need some third-party tools like Terraform? Maybe some other tools, like you have got SaltStack, etc. Now let's see, guys. You are able to see my screen?
Yes, Srikanth.
Yes. No. Okay. Great. See the trends. How is the trends now? After Terraform, and then I compare with CloudFormation. see the trends. How is the trend of Terraform and how is the trend of CloudFormation? Even you consider past 12 months or past 5 years. Okay, trend was never down. There was a slight, but the trend, the such craze, be it a trend or a craze or a demand for Terraform is increasing day by day. Okay, that is the beauty of Terraform. Now, Terraform, what is the Terraform? There are plenty of infrastructure tools to create the infrastructure. It's called IAC, infrastructure as a code, right? There are a bunch of tools. Terraform is becoming way popular, way in demand because of simplicity. It's way simple in maintenance compared with any other tool. So apart from Terraform, what are the other tools that are there in the market in order to create the infrastructure? Guys, do you know what are the other tools we have?
Like alternative to Terraform, like CloudFormation also can be used.
Sorry, come again your question.
Are you asking like what are the alternatives for Terraform?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I mean Ansible can be used, and also CloudFormation can be used.
Perfect. See, Ansible is basically it acts as the infrastructure as a code. More, it is a configuration management tool. There is a slight difference in configuration management tool and infrastructure as a code. What is the difference between Ansible and Terraform?
I think I'm not sure, but maybe Terraform is used to provide the infrastructure, but Ansible is used as a configuration management tool, like automation tool.
Okay.
Terraform is used to provision the infrastructure, while Ansible is used to provision the softwares. Like what are the softwares that needs to be installed in the infrastructure, that can be done by Ansible. Primarily, that is being used.
Perfect. Nice.
Also, like
But it can
Terraform
use-
has a state for whatever we do. It can keep a state of that.
Okay. Don't get into the properties or something like that in the Terraform. The main difference, I can say, Chef, Puppet, and these tools comes under configuration management tools, where you maintain the software, where you automate the infrastructure patching, some installations, all these stuff. And whereas Terraform is a very lightweight. You will not, even you can do the latest Terraform software provides you to perform some installations within the server, but ideally or predominantly it is used to create the infrastructure, to maintain the infrastructure. Okay. So we'll see first how do we install Terraform on a server. Okay. So maybe I install it on an EC2, so that will be simple. You can install on your local machine as well. Okay. So I have been a Linux machine.
Hey, I'm not able to hear you. Your voice is muted.
Am I audible now? Is my voice okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. The simplicity of Terraform, right? While writing or while maintaining, we will see that. So, what is basically Terraform? Terraform is an open source tool developed by Hasika. HashiCorp is a company where it develops a lot of open source tools like Terraform, like Packer, etc. There are plenty. So Terraform infrastructure as a code, the one unique advantage. Okay, now somebody says, why can't I use CloudFormation? Why do I need to use Terraform? Okay, number one point is you can easily adapt. You can easily mold it and roll out the similar whatever the script that you have written, not only for AWS, can be extended to other cloud services like Azure or GCP. Another advantage is there are lot of difficulties. There are lot many things that they made it very simple compared to the cloud formation. There are a lot of limitations of cloud formation that they have brought down. Okay, that they have fixed in the Terraform.
Can you please bring some few limitations which are there in CloudFormation template that is being addressed in Terraform?
Hello?
Am I audible? Hello?
You mean
Yeah, I can hear you
compared with
both.
the cloud formation?
Oh,
Sometimes
what
it-
I'm asking, can you please
Yes, please
can
go
you
ahead.
please bring some of the can you please bring some of the disadvantages which are there in CloudFormation template and that is being addressed in Terraform? That will be actually easy to understand.
Okay. See, cloud formation stacks, right? There is a limitation in number of stacks. You can create only 200 stacks. So, for example, if you have more than 200 projects, this is per account. It was only 50 earlier, but they made it 200 now. Okay, this is one of the limitations. Okay, if let's compare. Let's create one small snippet of cloud formation as well as the in Terraform, and you can see the simplicity. Even that also can be done. Okay, one thing is there are few limitations. Very simple example of number of stacks. When we go further, we will try to compare more limitations so that we can understand. Now, for a simple thing is you have 200 stacks.
Hey, hi, Rajiv here. Am I audible?
Yes, Rajiv, go ahead.
Yeah. So, as I understand about the more Terraform, like Terraform, it's not made for AWS. It's basically platform. You can say a platform independent. So you can write a code for AWS as well as you can write for Azure and GCP also. So that is again advantages of the Terraform, where the CloudForm is made mainly developed for AWS only. So if you having a some kind of like some kind of a server creation, which is like you want to target as this one instance can be AWS and one instance can be Azure. You can write in the same script, but you cannot do in Azure Cloud Formation in this case.
Yeah,
That
that's
will
always.
be difficult to say. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah,
One
that's always. So I just want to tell you, yeah. Apart from that, when I said there are few limitations of cloud formation, that's where I just want to give I just want to show you the main difference of why we choose Terraform, why there are plenty of clients who are choosing Terraform rather than cloud formation. Now, tell me one disadvantage of Terraform. No, I want to go with cloud formation only. Do we have any such disadvantages? Yes. Can anyone guess? Can anyone volunteer and tell me?
I believe if you write any module to create any task, you cannot skip it. All the modules in that Terraform file will be applied. Like the way we in CloudFormation we can do if false condition to skip a module, we cannot do in Terraform.
Simple, very simple.
See, as I understand, because initially when I worked on that, I understand Terraform is still you need a learning curves in this cases. You need to understand how the Terraform works. Where the CloudFront in the similar, if I can say, versus in that cases, CloudFront is supporting since they have a made it, they have their official products, so they have a made it very robust. CloudFormation supports all the major, if I can say, all the AWS services.
Don't go to that comparison. We already did. The
Yeah.
learning curve is simple compared with CloudFormation. CloudFormation is little complex or difficult when compared with Terraform. The only difference is since CloudFormation is from native, whenever there is a new service being released, it will be first available for CloudFormation. Then the HashiCorp will implement it. That's the only difference. Okay. Let's install the Terraform on the EC2. On Linux. So you get a Terraform binary, appropriate package for Linux 64-bit. Don't want dash. Go to the server. wget. This is a zip file. So this is the file that you have got when you unzip it. Next, this is done. Download is done. Next, you need to set the path. You move this to downloads Terraform wherever you have downloaded to user local bin. When I downloaded it as a zip file, I unzipped it. This is the first step that I did. And then I am moving to the directory called user local bin. This is where all your fundamental installations will be saved. Okay. So first do an echo of the path. $path. You could see /usr local has been /usr local bin. This is where your path is. So I hope everyone knows about the path variable.
Yes.
If not, okay. If not, let me know. Export dollar no, the export path is equal to /user not calculator. User EC2 hyphen user. That is my path. Okay, PWD. Yeah. Export path is equal to /home /EC2 hyphen user. Done. Now your VI will not work. Why? Why your VI is not working?
Maybe
Don't know.
not part of.
It's not installed.
Sorry. It's not installed.
The
Anyone
path
else?
is the path is changed where user/bin is not there, so we need to add that to access VI.
Ah, okay. I simply open the duplicate. EC2 user. Now my path is same. VI hello is working. It's installed because whenever you type any command, it looks into the path. Okay. Now my path is already set for $path. Keep in mind, Linux is a case sensitive. So if you give $small path, you will get nothing. It has to be captured. Okay. So if you see, the path is on pointing to /usr local yes bin /usr local bin. Okay. Now I'm setting this usr local bin. Move my Terraform to /usr local bin. Permission denied. Done. Now I create a directory called AWS_Terraform or AWS-Terraform. My Terraform, just check ls cd AWS. Yeah, ls nothing. LSF and LRTK nothing. I don't have anything here. Now when I run Terraform --, version, it still works. Why? Anyone quickly?
The module is there.
USR local bin. You have it to USR local bin. That's why it's working.
Perfect. I have copied. I have moved. Sorry, rather than copied, I have moved the Terraform package to /usr local bin. So it works anywhere. The path is pointing, so it works anywhere. It's simple. Now let me try to create the first file. This is done. Verify the installation. Terraform help. You can do Terraform version. All things you can do. Okay. So this is about installation.
One thing here. One thing I want to bring here, without moving the Terraform file, also you can do ClassPath setup. You need to move that one. You can just change the bash file so that without moving that file, also you can get your Terraform access any folder across your computer and across your instance.
Absolutely.
So what you can do, I mean, it's sorry.
I can set the path. See, either I can move to actual binary. See, see why? See, there are n number of ways. There is a better way. Okay. Why HashiCorp is recommending this step rather than doing it that way? Why HashiCorp is saying move the download Terraform? Because this is the better way. There are two ways. What you are saying is set the path, the current where you have downloaded, you have unzipped, you can set the path, or you can move this Terraform. This is a better way because all the binaries will reside. there is a meaning for this specific directory. That's it. That's it. Okay. Thank you. Now, you are after doing unzipping, you perform, you run certain commands to see, yes, my Terraform is installed, my Terraform is in the path directory. So you create a directory and you verify it. Okay. I don't have any file, but still my Terraform works, similar to your BI. Now I want to create my first file. What is, see, the Terraform, it is a very lightweight. Okay. So whatever you unzip, this is having some, it shows me the, let me see this. How do I see? Let's say commonality h slash usr locale bin. Okay. Oh, it's about 82 MB. It does not, right now, it does not have any plugins, packages related to AWS, related to Azure, related to nothing. Unless until you first run your Terraform template. Okay. You first run your Terraform template, then it will download required files. Let's see that. So this is done. Let's go back to the, okay. The another, I know, I think most of the guys are already learned working, trying out AWS. AWS is having the best documentation. I have to admit, Azure is also good, but GCP is worst. Okay. So similar to that, Terraform, HashiCorp has got very, very, very good documentation. Oh, simple. We'll start with first S3. Maybe soon we'll say provider. There are bunch of ways in order to get the access to your AWS. You will see one by one and will decide which one is best. Not registry. Prerequisite, we have got this, and yeah. So we create a simple first the TF file. Okay. So this TF file will contain your Terraform. It's called a Terraform file. You can say template file or a Terraform. Touch. Maybe I will say Yas3 sample TF. Okay. Now I create the, I don't want to create something differently. I want to create only the S3 because it is free. Okay. 1 minute. So let's first mention the provider. Whenever I run this, it will go and download the required files for the AWS. So I can give region, any region for that matter. US-1 or 2. I can give any region which is a valid region for the Terraform AWS. This is going to be our first step, which will tell you, boss, this is the AWS. Okay. Now, I write resource, and then I will mention some name, S3 create or a S3 resource, and then I will give a name here. This should be the exact name. Green bucket. First, we mention the provider, and then we mention the S3 AWS S3 bucket. Then you give the name to the snippet, S3 demo. This is what, so this resource is a mandatory snippet, and I'm going to tell what resource I'm going to create, whether it is a EC2, S3, or Lambda, or cloud config, etc. And I will mention, think that you are creating S3 bucket. What are the mandatory steps you require? Guys, imagine that you are creating a S3 bucket, AWS S3 bucket. What are the parameters that you need in order to create S3 bucket? Hello, am I audible?
Basically, you have to give. Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. Yes, please. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So while you're creating an S3 bucket, you have to give a name. Then you have to tell whether it's a public bucket or private bucket. And if you want to access and give them, what is that called? VPC, any specific network, if you want to keep it, and you can keep it. Basically, the access label you have to provide. Because as S3 is, it's a without any specific region specific, it is universal. So you don't need to, give any specific region where you want to click. I'm not sure why it is required to keep the region for S3. And yeah, if you want to give an, of course, tag it based upon cost center.
No, I can't.
Sorry.
Guys, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
you are audible.
Hello. Okay. See, sorry, whosoever is speaking, right? Your voice is breaking. See, what I was asking is, imagine that you are creating a S3 bucket. Do you choose a region while creating the S3 bucket?
No. It is universal, not required. That's what I was asking. Why it is required a region for creating an S3 bucket?
Okay. Very nice. Anyone else? Do we require a region while creating S3 bucket?
Global.
Yep.
No? Yes.
No.
No.
Okay, guys, great. Yeah. Let me show you. I go to S3. See, there is a change in the console look and feel from day before yesterday. There was you can tag the resources, but it is now favorites. You can make the favorites in this. Okay. So I go to S3. Guys, region is required. Whenever I click on the create bucket, you have to give the region and you have to give the name. Create bucket, it will ask the bucket name and region. You have to choose the region. Even though the objects in the bucket are global, S3 does not require, but the bucket is created in a specific region. This is very important. When you are transferring the data from EC2, when you are transferring the data from one bucket to another bucket, region is very important. For your cloud formation, for your CloudFront, there are n number of places where your region has to be considered. Okay, create a bucket. It requires regions. You might not be selecting, but this bucket would be created in that specific region. If your application is residing in Mumbai, do not ever create the bucket in Frankfurt or US and different regions. Okay, creating in Singapore is okay. Now, okay, get into job. Now the bucket, since you have given the region here, you don't need to give. I'll remove the profile also. We'll discuss later. Okay, now where am I? So my bucket, I need a name. I have to give the name. This bucket name is unique across the accounts, across all the AWS accounts. So I'll give my BKTP Terraform demo 1 2 3. Some number I'll give so that the bucket does not exist anywhere. So I can give it tags. I can give tags if I want, or I can give versioning enabled, anything for that matter. Okay. You want okay, I'll give it tags. Okay. Very simple. Where do I go? My website. Terraform logs. So this is bucket. These are the tags. Tags is equal to key value. How does this template looks like? You know, the way that we have written. Is it looking like a CSV file, XML file, or different file altogether?
It's an HCL file, I guess. Separate file.
Yes,
It's
perfect.
not an,
I agree totally. It's not a
not in JSON or. You mean the same? I mean, you are asking in that way?
Okay. See, basically, if I don't know what is that, I know JSON. I'm good in JSON. It is looking like a JSON. You have a open brace, close brace. You have a key value pair. The representation is little different, but it is almost similar to JSON. For time being, we will think that this is JSON. Agree? So next is what? I run something called Terraform plan. Terraform plan. See the thing. Very first thing. One-time job I need to do whenever I have written now in by using AWS. I might write by using a GCP or something. You need to run Terraform init the very first time to download your AWS related packages. How does HashiCorp recognizes this is AWS? By looking at your plan file which has provided information. Provider is AWS. So it quickly installs Terraform AWS related package. Has been successfully initialized. Okay. Now we run the Terraform plan. Terraform init is a one-time job which installs the specific plugin. In our case, AWS. The next
So,
thing is
suppose
every
multiple providers are there in multiple Terraform files, will the single Terraform init will install all the providers?
usually what we do is we keep multiple providers in different directories. The plugin you need to install not in the directory where it is running. If you look at LSF and LRTA, there is nothing.
So are you saying it's not best
Except
practice to keep
dot
all
Terraform.
the
Now you
all
need
the
to install all your.
so are you saying it's not the best practice to keep multiple providers in a single directory?
When we are writing code, we will write code only for one provider, whether it is AWS or
plugins in different directories. You keep all your GCP in a
Okay, got it.
separate directory. You keep all your AWS in a separate directory, and then you initialize that so that the Terraform will download all the required packages.
Srikant, you're breaking up. At least I can't hear you continuously well. I don't know if it's same for others.
For the specific plugin. These are the plugins. Okay. Now, whenever I run plan, the second thing is there are no credentials. Is however access to create. How are you allowing this? One multiple. It will download.
Shrikant, we can't.
Install the
We are unable to
required
hear you clearly.
that specific provider.
Yeah, voice is breaking.
Voice is breaking. Shrikant.
Is my voice breaking sometimes? How about now?
yes, Srikant.
Most of the times. Most of the times.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Shrikant, I
Most of
recommend
the
you
time-
if you can connect from mobile for the voice.
Did we lose him?
Srikant, are you there?
Is my voice better now?
Yes, Srikant, we can hear you better now.
Okay. Good. So guys, I was saying you have written a template file and I try to run this. I was under the impression or assumption that it is going to create this bucket, right? Provided this is unique, provided my syntax is all good, okay? Then what is the thing that I am missing whenever I run a plan here, right? Terraform plan. thing is, boss, you have written a template, all good, but you need to provide the access in some way, be it secret access key and secret access key, or by using the role. The preferred way is to give the role. Okay. I hope everybody knows about IAM rules. So I go to roles. My trusted entity is EC2. Trusted entity EC2. Next, I give permissions YAS3, full access.
Hello?
Yes. Yes, I can hear. Go ahead. Guys, if somebody don't want to speak, you can go on mute. Okay. Now, choose your permissions as YAS3 and do the review and create the role. So I go to my EC2. EC2. This is my instance running. Instance settings, attach IAM role, EC2 full access. Yep, okay. There are multiple anyways. Now you go to your Terraform plan and see that's giving something. Okay, now see. So this says that this time the plan is basically kind of a dry run. We run it and see what it is going to do. Okay, so it is not going to be applied, but it will tell you what it is going to be created. Okay, so we ran the Terraform plan and it is telling I'm going to create YAS3 bucket will be created. YAS3 and these and all we have not given ACLs. There are certain parameters which will be by default, like ACL provide. Even though you are not providing by default, the access control is provide. And rest all is unknown. You not have given tags. Environment is there. Name is my bucket. Okay. Now that's the plan to verify whether your syntax is correct and what are the resources that it is going to create, how many number of resources, whether it is going to change anything, destroy anything. All these things are a part of the plan. Okay. Now, after you satisfied your plan is as expected, then you do a apply. Terraform apply. Terraform apply also once again will show you what are the resources it is going to create as a part of the apply. And then if you say yes, then it is a acceptance to approve. Are you sure that Terraform apply plan will help you to create? There are no issues at all at runtime. There are chances. Okay, so you ran the bucket already exists. You run the plan, and after some time, somebody manually made some changes. Those things will not be checked, right? So careful. Sometimes during a real time we face the issues plan looks fine, but apply for this. Now, in fraction of second, I have created this bucket. I can take the same code and I can create this bucket, provided you change the name. Okay. If you change the account with the same code, the bucket already exists. That might not create the same name. So, guys, date created. Do a refresh. You can see my bucket Terraform demo 1288 has been created. Okay, so this is the blank one which has been created. You can see the tags. These are the tags that we have created. Now, what happens if I run once again? I ran it and I logged off from the shift and I forgot to update that Terraform apply has been done. What happens if somebody, the next support guy runs this Terraform apply once again?
Nothing happens.
It will take the Terraform state file and it will try to recreate the bucket.
Okay, option 1, will it delete this bucket and create once again? Option 2,
No.
it will throw an error. Option 3, it does nothing. Option 4, it won't work. I mean, it will not
3.
run at all.
Option
It will
3.
create and
Now, always before think that I am a next support guy, I usually before we run the apply, we always run the plan. Okay. Which will tell you, boss, no changes, infrastructure is up to date. This is the best method. Okay. Now I am a hasty guy. I don't run the plan at all. I do apply. Then it will tell you, even if you do this, it will tell you no changes. You run 1,000 times, still it will tell you there is no change. Okay. Now somebody asked me, I want versioning to be enabled. Okay. I want the versioning to be enabled. Versioning, MFA delete, none of apply. There is the versioning using versioning. Okay, versioning enabled. That's all. Now, so client told me S3 bucket is good, excellent. The naming convention is also fine, but I want the versioning to be enabled. Okay. So now I go to the S3. Okay, I will add a property called version. Okay. Now let's see. First, we run always plan. Now you can see that versioning enabled false to true. Earlier it was false, now it is true. 1 to change, 0 to destroy. There is a change happening. One change. Nothing, 0 to change. Plan is good. Now I run the versioning is enabled. Yes. Perfect. I go here, my bucket. Right now it is disabled. Do a refresh. Okay. So somebody, he was from development team. He accidentally did the suspend versioning. are some changes. There is a huge infrastructure that you created by using the Terraform, and he did 2-3 changes. So the support team was expecting the logs, and they were not receiving the logs in a proper way. And they noticed that there is a change in the infrastructure. How do you get to know the details? What are the differences between the infrastructure? If you, in case you have created manually, it is impossible. Because of the Terraform, it is way simple. So whenever the infrastructure is created, you get something called a PF state file. You do this Terraform PF.state, it will tell you all the details. It is again a read-only file. So there is a bucket created, the name of the bucket, the ARN, bucket domain name, bucket region domain name, all these things, hosted zone ID, logging, tags, everything will be there. Okay, now I want to know the differences, right? Now I will do Terraform plan. Or you can do in different ways. Okay, you can see that Terraform plan will tell you there is one change. Okay. Now there is something called Terraform show. Terraform show will tell you what are the differences, the changes that have been done. Okay. There is a versioning enabled to false to true. That is what is the change that has been done. So, like this, state file is very important. You will see in further sessions how do you protect the state files in case this machine is crashed, right? Your state file will help you to determine what is the current state. Okay, so you can see Terraform show. There is something called Terraform state and list. Yeah, this is the state. What are the different state files we have, and we can do some sort of troubleshooting by what is this command called Terraform validate. Terraform validate. Okay, the configuration file is valid, but there is a change. So Terraform show will help you to see the differences. Now Terraform, sorry, the S3 bucket versioning is basically disabled. Now I go here, I will mention the Terraform state, Terraform state show exactly Terraform state show resource lister show hyphen state is equal to Terraform dot state file. Terraform show will show you the what is your state file, and Terraform apply plan will help you to determine what are the changes that has been made to your infrastructure. Usually it will be very huge file. Okay, and it will show you, okay, boss, there are manual changes has been made. You need to revert them. How do we revert them? How do we get back my state? By applying once. All right. So I'll stop this demo here. Let me know you have any questions.
Yeah, I have a question here. So now what you have done in your IAM role, basically you have added all permission to the EC2 instance and you are running the Terraform script. So that it will take your IAM role or the credentials from EC2 and it is going to do all the activities or what all these steps, whatever you mentioned in the script, and it will execute. Now let's assume I'm going to run the Terraform script. Let's assume my local machine from tool which is installed in my local. Now how we are going to give the credentials of AWS or any cloud vendor to get the Terraform files.
Access key, secret access key. CLI. You need to install the CLI.
But ideally it is not suggested to give the access key secret key directly, right? Because it's again that can be viewed or can be checked, right? So without access key and secret key directly giving and the Terraform file.txt file, can there is any other way to give these details?
See,
some encrypted ways.
AWS Secret Manager, and you will have still have the access key, secret access key, but that is just to access your secrets manager. From there, you pull the actual access key and secret access key. In order to touch AWS infrastructure, if the instance is residing within the AWS, then you no need access key, secret access key. But if you are outside, then there is no other option apart from access key, secret access key. Because you can't attach a rule to a machine which is not residing or running within the AWS infrastructure.
Okay, let's go in other way around. So I am a AWS user, okay, and I have, of course, when I am connecting to the AWS console or any cloud console, so I have the access key and security, but I'm not a user or not an user with creating VMs or creating instances and all, right? Actually, S3 buckets and all. So that way it is not going to work out, right? I mean, I cannot able to do that even though I am giving the access key and security key in my PF file, right? Now we are talking about you have to give in the key file, right?
You can you can create a provider, you can create a CLI, and you can use that.
No, my question is, so I'm that user which I am user, right? That user I don't have permission to create EC2 instance. So in that case, you have to make sure that I am user of the access key or secret key, whatever you are getting. See, access key and secret key is very specific to the user, right? So that user, that user, you don't have permission to get one EC2 instance or EC2 instances. So obviously you cannot do it, right? You cannot create the AWS instance, right? Terraform,
right?
Okay, so
that's what I'm saying. So what another recommended way is there is something called Secrets Manager, AWS Secrets Manager. You store the credentials there and you create access key, secret access key where only you will have access to that, and you manage the access there. Is it from a specific IP address? All these things you can restrict there.
Right to say IAM role.
Yep. So directly, for example, think that you want access to create a EC2 instance. Rather than directly giving to you, if anybody in this world have got the access to those keys, they can manipulate it, right? They can misuse. So what we usually do in real time is you will get access only to the secrets manager. That secrets manager will help you to determine whether this is a genuine request or not. So that guy provides you the actual access, and then with that you are going to create the issue. With that you are going to create the S3 or Lambda or load config.
Okay.
So there are two things you do usually. One is key rotation. Also you can do. Another thing is in order to protect these keys, and then you give a retention period about 90 days usually, and then you can rotate the keys.
Okay. And another question here, like you have only one TF file here, right? Let's assume I have multiple TF files. So how you are going to execute these files in the plan basically, Terraform plan or Terraform state?
Put it in a different directory. When you run apply, it will apply on all the TF files. So you usually write one TF file for one project. Take for example, Lilium is one project where we have written the infrastructure. For them, they want ECS cluster, they want S3, they want some Lambda functions. So we created one TF file.
Okay, I have seen many just on that. So most of the cases there will be one vendor TF file and there will be some variables and there will be some other files and that will be linked to each other. So let's assume in your case, and I mean whatever you're doing, let's assume I have multiple files in TF files in the same folder, right? So what would be the sequence of execution?
You want to invoke a specific TF file?
Yes. Let's assume just give ls-la here. So you have only one file, right? I mean whatever. Can you please do ls-la here, please?
1 second. Yep.
Yeah. So you have basically your file is here is s3-sample.tf file by default, right? And this state file will be created on the fly after the execution. Okay. Now let's assume I have another file called as let's assume ec2-sample.tf file, right?
And you mean hang on. So I create one more. For example, ec2-sample.tf, right?
Correct. So now if I'm going to give, I want to execute it. Let's assume I'm going to give execute plan.
If you run Terraform man, it is going to touch all the Terraform TF files. So if I want to do
so my question is here. So you are telling whatever the TF files will be available, those files will be right.
Okay. I think there is something.
No, I'm asking.
Okay, so usually what we do is for a specific directory, we'll have one TF file which will have all. But there is something called Terraform.
I guess we can also use workspaces. I'm not sure if that is the right answer.
Something called Terraform target. By using the Terraform target, you can mention specific file. Yep, you can use Terraform target flag. Okay.
So we want to say yeah.
Yeah, tell me.
No, now you have two different files in the specific folder, right? So you are saying both the files will be executed. Let's assume we are not using the target command, right? So even if you are going for the target flag, so I mean what exactly this means? Which one we are going to target now? Let's say we have two files now, right? Not two files, not a file. There are two files, right? So if you are going to use the target command, so what should be the command here?
So I give it target. example, I am running a specific target here. Resource targeting is in
So now,
since I don't have anything, there is nothing inside.
so yeah, understood. So basically, target command would be used to execute a specific Terraform file, right? Now, that initial whatever we were talking about, I mean, there are two files, and you are saying both the files will be executing at a time, right? I mean, it will be executing. So any specific sequence like, okay, this file will be executing fast, or other file will be executing second.
So I am not pretty sure, but it must be with the naming, the alphabetical.
Okay,
First it goes with
okay.
uh-huh.
Yeah, okay, that's fine then. Not needed. So it should be as per you. It should be going alphabetical order, right?
It should be going to
alphabetical order. That's what I will tell you.
Alphabetical order, yes.
Fine. And last question I have.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, no worries. Another question here, please. So now you are whatever the I said there are multiple. I mean, there will be only one mandatory file, and we're calling some variables. We're calling some other files also. Can you please take one example like that? How the mandatory file will be executed, and how the other files are getting called? Is it coming under scope now?
Yeah. In further sessions, we will see we can create the modules. So modules will help us to determine what which file needs to be executed and how we can modularize these Terraform files. Say, for example, you have what is this front end like your API gateway, and then you have application running on ECS. You have some Lambda function. So you create a modules which okay, I want a specific module to be executed. For the front end, I have the API gateway and I have a cloud formation, Route 53, etc. And for my backend, I have a ECS, Lambda, then SNS, etc. And for my database, I have a bunch of cluster needs to be created, read replicas needs to be created, and this is my volume size, all these things. So these modularization can be done in Terraform.
Yeah, understood. So that is not coming under this class. It will be separate session altogether, right?
We'll discuss this modularization in this. I mean, not in this demo session, but in further sessions, I'm going to tell you all this.
Okay, fine. If you don't mind, just 2 minutes, can you please just give me and just tell me if it is time permits for you? Okay, you can just tell me, there is a mandatory file and how basically we are going to call a variable, because the mandatory file basically will be just giving the placeholders, right? And the placeholders will be calling the variable files, right? And get the details. Let's assume we are giving that what you can say some name or some or some access keys or groups and all. So we are giving the variable session, right? And we are calling that variable file or a mandatory file. Right? So how Terraform is taking, okay, these variables has to any place we are telling, okay, call this variable .tf file, or how it is, if time permits. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess time might not permit, so we need to have a variable, define them, and we need to have a certain examples. Definitely we will discuss. It's part of this course. Yeah, so we'll go step by step. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Srikanth, this is Yogesh. I have one question.
Yes, Yogesh, please go ahead.
I'll go ahead. Thank you very much, Srikanth, first of all, for the detailed session. So I appreciate it. The question is, typically in the application development world, people do write unit testing code for .NET or Java and things like that. So for Terraform, is there any kind of facility apart from the Terraform validate and plan command? Is there any kind of tool or facility used typically to validate or unit test your Terraform script?
Good question. we only usually run the apply even by using the Jenkins before we apply. We run the plan, validate. These will help us. As I told you, sometimes if in case for example, you have given certain name to the bucket and that is created by somebody, that might not help you. So yesterday evening I ran all these validate or I have ran plan, all these things, but actually when I'm running on a production environment, on a production account, that might fail. Okay, so I have only these validate and plan which we run before we really create the infrastructure.
Okay, got it. Thanks. Another question, if time permits, you can answer. In case we lose the TF state file, is there a way to regenerate that by looking at the infrastructure, and we will already have the TF file, we'll already have the created infrastructure, but suppose the TF state file is lost. Is there a way to recreate that? Can I maybe run Terraform plan, etc., and it will create it?
Okay. Basically, we will not keep the state file in a local machine where we ran. Okay? That is not a suggested way. We always take a backup.
I agree. I agree. I understand it's the best practice. Sorry to interrupt because we are running out of time and interrupting. So I agree that it is not a best practice to keep it locally. But in case it happens, is there a way to regenerate that file?
Okay, so there is a way that we can regenerate it from the current resources. Okay.
Yeah. What is that command or what is that approach?
I really don't recall the command, but yes, there is a state, some regenerate. But yes, from the current resources, we can regenerate the state file once.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Anyone else want to have questions?
Thank you so much, Srikanth, for the session.
Yeah, that's my pleasure. Thanks, guys. And finally, thanks for the Micronet for giving this opportunity. Cheers.
Thank you, Srikanth.
Have a nice day.